Are you sitting down? Get this. This Ford technology patent doesn't just watch you. This one puts you in jail.
So your truck is not yours anymore. It's not your truck. Let's watch.
Come on. No. Now imagine there was an emergency outside the truck, an accident, something terrible on the ranch with a chainsaw. And I jump in this truck, but the truck, it won't shift into drive. Why? Because the cameras and sensors inside this cab won't let it shift because it detects my eyes are big. There's a lot of emotion. There's some panic and it doesn't feel that I'm fit to drive. Now that's not science fiction. That is happening because Ford just filed the patents. Ford actually has a series of patents down at the U.S. Patent and Trade Office that deal with the sensors and cameras inside the cab of their truck. And if the sensors in that truck determine that you're not fit to drive, that truck will not actually shift from park to drive. Now, they already have a system called telematics, and that's where they can actually pull up cameras in real time inside the cab of their fleet vehicles. Now, they actually market this to insurance companies because the truth is, this is really about who owns the data and who owns the liability. Now, your name might actually be on the title of this truck, and you may have paid for it, but you don't own it. Now, Ford didn't file just one patent. They filed a stack of them, all within months of each other. Are you sitting down? Get this. This Ford technology patent doesn't just watch you. This one puts you in jail. Ford filed a patent, serial number 0104469, where the system takes your biometric data, your face, your iris, and your fingerprint, and it runs it through a criminal database in real time. While you're sitting in your own truck, think about what that means. You wake up one morning, you walk out to your driveway, you climb into a vehicle with your name on the title, on property with your name on the deed. And before you go anywhere, before you've done a single thing wrong, your truck is already running your face through a law enforcement database. Ford's own patent language describes this as potentially useful for police. They wrote that. Ford wrote that into the patent application. So the question isn't whether this technology can be abused. Ford already told you who it's for. You just didn't know that you were buying a cop car. Now I'm going to walk you through a few of these patents. Lip reading, cameras inside your cab, machine learning trained on lip movement datasets, cloud connected, your face processed somewhere you'll never see, stored as long as they want. Acoustic lip reading, if the cameras aren't enough, the system emits inaudible sound waves and reads the echoes bouncing off of your mouth. You can't see it, it's just happening. Biometrics, your face, fingerprint, iris, filed February 2024, and it was published August 2025. This one is assigned a serial number because it's real. Ad listening. This is scary. It monitors conversations between everyone in the cab. It serves targeted ads based on what you and others are talking about while you're driving. In Ford's words, maximum opportunity for ad-based monetization. No description of how that data is protected either. None. How about Ford Pro Telematics? Now, this one isn't a patent. This one is actually a product page. Right now, fleet managers can pull live in-cabin video feeds of drivers on their phones. Ford markets seatbelt compliance alerts with the explicit benefit of lowering insurance costs. They said it themselves. This is the infrastructure, and once the infrastructure exists, it's going to get used and abused. Now, Ford isn't alone in this. This is an arms race. Smart Eye driver monitoring software is already in over 2 million cars globally. The EU's general safety regulation mandates drowsiness systems as standard equipment going forward. GM deployed biometric seat sensors and heart rate monitoring in production trucks.
Do you hear the drowsiness thing? And the guy's eyes were too big?
Yep.
That's what happened to Janice. That's the same thing. It said she's Asian, by the way. It sounds like I'm making a racist joke. No, that's the tech. It decided you're sleepy. That's real. It just happened to somebody.
Wow.
I know somebody just went through this.
When in 2017, WikiLeaks revealed the CIA could secretly remotely control cars, potentially allowing them to enable nearly undetectable assassinations, the world was aghast. Now the government does it openly.
Mm-hmm.
Every government overreach is always sold as safety for the peasants.
This is why your leaders aren't going to fight the power or do anything for you, because the government's tech is always 40 to 60 years ahead of what you get. So they've already been under this system. Do you get it? It's for the peasants now. But you've already heard, didn't Mitch McConnell's Chinese sister-in-law, her car suddenly backed into the lake? Remember that?
Remember, who was that guy?
Gary Dore,
Michael
the
Hastings?
screenwriter?
Was it the
The one that wrote about McChrystal and Rolling Stone?
Yes.
His car went out of control?
And
Yeah, a month later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Puberty says every new car in the United States will be required by law to have tech that puts constant surveillance on the driver by 2027.
Wait, states can't roll that back, can they? Because they can't say anything about AI, right?
That's right. You cannot regulate AI. Trump passed that. You can't.
New World Order, assholes. Trump did it. Trump did it.
AI in your car will determine if you're sober and fit to drive, automatically turning off the vehicle if it determines you're a danger on the road.
You keep fighting about what movies are good. And keep fighting about if, what movies are woke and shit. Worry about that. That's smart.
This passed. Let's watch.
What's official, you guys? Kill switches are coming to new vehicles. Something you'd expect out of Orwell's 1984, and yet 57 House Republicans joined Democrats to ensure the government can shut off your vehicle whenever it wants, makes cars more expensive, and puts the government in your car.
There's a law that states that every vehicle manufactured is going to have a kill switch in it. The car itself will monitor your driving. And if the car thinks that you're not doing a good job driving, it will disable itself. So the car dashboard becomes your judge, your jury, and your executioner.
This sounds an awful lot like that new movie Mercy that just came out, which takes place in the not so distant future, 2029 to be exact, where he has to prove himself innocent to the AI judge, jury, and executioner. Now, this mandate for vehicles to be able to shut themselves off was actually put into law in 2021 under the Biden administration under the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. Now, what was voted on the 22nd was the funding for this, to which Representative Massie from Kentucky offered an amendment to just the funding for the kill switch portion of the Investment and Jobs Act. And that's what was voted on. And this is how the votes went. So these are all the ones that voted against stopping the funding, and these are all the ones that voted for stopping the funding for kill switches. Now, the argument for this is that it will stop drunk and distracted driving, but no one knows yet how far this technology will go. Will it include cameras? Will it include sensors? Will it include breathalyzers? Will your insurance company have access to this? Will your Fourth Amendment constitutional rights be violated?
Next thing is going to be, well, we need to hook this thing up to the government so we can dispatch the police. I'm just going to tell you what's going to happen next. They're going to be shutting your car off when they decide whatever they decide from wherever they decided. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about what you think about due process and the Constitution and the Fourth Amendment and the right to not be imposed upon by illegal, unlawful search and seizure, but punishing everybody for this crime, whether they've committed or not, if they're going to commit it or not, should be unconstitutional. This shouldn't really be a question.
Will this end up being government overreach, you guys? Really think about this, because Massie brought up a good point during his talk where he was saying, what if you're a mother, you want to go get some stuff because a snowstorm is coming, you swerve to miss a pothole, you swerve to miss an animal, you do something that the car doesn't like, and then the car then shuts itself off, and then what? You have to sit on the side of the road and wait for the police to come and deem that you are worthy to drive? Will this throw your Fourth Amendment right to unreasonable search and seizures out the window because your car said so?
We need to get around the Constitution. Larry Ellison said we need to get around this pesky Constitution.
That's right. We
are.
We got to do it for safety.
Well, you want to be safe? You know, in Florida, because there's breathalyzers that could be put in your car now. For years they've had this.
Yes.
If you're a drunk driver. And Florida didn't want to install them or get those devices because they make so much money catching drunk drivers. So they didn't want to use that technology. Isn't that fun? And so imagine risking everyone's life because the revenue is too good from catching the crime. So I'm saying that as a beacon of hope that maybe is the counterweight to this.
Come see me May 23rd in Atlanta, May 24th in Raleigh, North Carolina. Will be May 7th in Burbank, then Tulsa, Oklahoma, Oklahoma City, Spokane, Tacoma, June 26th and 27th, Levittown, New York at Governor's. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.